Hey there, Central Ohio. I'm 10 Weather Impact Meteorologist Michael Behrens alongside
Jay Plyburn. You guys remember me? I used to do this. I used to get to do this, and then they said, we don't need you to do this anymore.
We said we don't want you anymore.
Take a break. Happy to be back here. Listen, I love the 10 Weather Impact show, especially when the weather starts changing a little bit.
Yeah, and I mean, it really has changed here on the back half of the week. We had a lot of heat Tuesday to yesterday. Not so bad.
Not so bad.
Today,
matter of fact, it was nice to get out and walk with a little cloud cover out there.
Not bad. Low clouds, low temperatures.
I like it a lot.
Wind.
Fun fact, you know what 1 month from today is?
What's that?
My daughter's birthday.
Oh, all right.
Also, the last full day of summer.
There you go.
1 month from today. That means fall is coming, friends.
Fall is coming.
Start feeling like it.
It's kind of been feeling like it here this week.
I've liked it. I like the cold. Not that I don't love the extreme heat. Those 90s, the first week of summer, really. Whew, that was a warm welcome to Central Ohio. I like the cooler conditions.
Yeah, and well, good and bad news for you. Bad news, next couple of days, we are going to heat back up. Good news, we got an even bigger cool down next week.
I'm here for it.
So let's dive right into it. We'll take a look at your 10 Weather Impact headlines here across the region as we head through the rest of the day today. Cool temperatures out there. Some drizzle is possible with those clouds across the region. And like we were talking about, we could be even colder by this time next week. The temperatures are really going to dip as we head past the weekend. We could be talking some of the coldest air we've seen in a couple months returning to Central Ohio. So if you like the cooler weather, you'll definitely like the forecast next week. A lot of cloud cover out there early on this Thursday. Those clouds expected to again hang around throughout the day as some drizzle is possible in the afternoon. Temperatures this morning were down in the mid 60s. Not the coolest we can get this time of the year. There's still a little bit of that humidity in the air. It's stopping the temperatures from getting all that cold overnight, but definitely comfortable and cooler conditions across the region. You can kind of give the air conditioners a break out there if you don't mind just a little bit of humidity creeping in there as well. Dew points out there still in the mid to low 60s across Central Ohio as we head through this Thursday. Heading into the afternoon, again, fairly cloudy skies expected across the region. Could see a little bit of drizzle out there as well. Temperatures only going to make highs in the upper 70s to near 80 as we head to this afternoon. If you get a little bit of sunshine poking through the cloud cover, you might be able to boost those temperatures up just a bit, but areas that remain overcast all day don't expect to make it out of the 70s this afternoon. When it comes to that humidity we've been talking about, we're just going to keep a little bit of it in the air through the weekend. Once we get to the other side of Sunday, that's when our cool down really starts to take effect and the humidity dropping as well. In fact, we could push dew points down into the 40s by next week. Not only is that just comfortable air, that is pretty dry air, especially for late August, early September kind of time frame here across Central Ohio. This is going to feel very nice, pretty fall-like as we head toward next week. As you can expect, with a drop in humidity comes a drop in our rain chances. Other than drizzle today, the only real chance for rain we have is a small one heading into the weekend. After that, we are pretty much goose eggs across the board as we head toward next week. Here's satellite radar earlier in the day Thursday. Again, the cloud cover in place out there. This cloud cover could generate some drizzle across the region. Hurricane Erin, you can see those bands of rainfall off the east coast there. We'll keep a close eye on that and have an update on that later in the show. But our forecast here locally, again, through this afternoon, here comes the clouds. Here comes that chance for drizzle. We are not talking heavy rain by any stretch of the imagination. This is going to be very light, pretty nuisance type rainfall. If you've got to do something outside today, you might get a few drops on you, but other than that, you should be good to go. Once we head into the evening, that chance itself even starts to go away. We're back to quieter weather as we head through tonight. Partly cloudy skies expected to continue into your early Friday morning. Then as we get into Friday, we'll see a few clouds around, but more sunshine poking through. Temperatures will start to warm back up. Should be a pretty nice afternoon out there as we head into the start of the weekend. Here's a look at your 10 Weather Impact 7-day forecast. Temperatures, like we said, they will climb back up the ladder in the next couple of days. While we're not expected to get really any warmer than 80 at the most this afternoon, we will push things up toward the upper 80s by the time we head towards Saturday, but that'll be followed by that bigger cool down as we head toward next week. We're talking temperatures out there with sunshine in the low to mid 70s as we head toward next week. This is really going to feel like fall when we get there. Before that, of course, we got that warm up heading our way, but we've also got football on the way for Friday. If you're heading out for those games, not looking bad. The sunshine will be out. It'll still feel a little bit like summer. Temperatures close to average for this time of the year. Look for a kickoff near 80 with temperatures dropping into the 70s before those games come to an end. And like we said, those 70s get here kind of full time as we head toward next week.
That is not a bad looking forecast by any stretch of the imagination. When I said I don't like the extreme heat, I was thinking more, the 90s.
90 plus.
And I can enjoy it, but it's gone for now. I guess it could come back at any point.
Yeah.
But friends,
hard to argue with that.
Fall's coming. I can't believe it's already time for football.
Yeah, I mean, football's here. We are about 24 hours away from high school football.
From high school football.
A week away from college football.
Just over a week away from OSU in Texas. Noon game. That's going to be a fun weekend.
Oh, yeah, it's all coming back. And like we said, as we get ready for that weather out there today, we're also getting ready for that return of high school football.
Yeah.
And tomorrow, that's our 1st and 10 game of the week. We'll be heading toward Bishop Watterson, the defending state champs, with a huge matchup against Big Walnut.
Remember, our live coverage starts tomorrow on 10 TV News at 4. You can also tune in to our radio partner, 97.1 The Fan, to listen live and then find post-game coverage. First watch, 10 tomorrow night on 10 TV News at 11. That's when you can first watch it.
Yeah, it's going to be great to get out there and see those high school football games again. But as our weather looking good for that, other parts of the country, their weather not looking as nice.
Jeez.
Now, this is the latest on the tropics and Hurricane Erin, Category 2 storm. As we head into the afternoon, that storm is not slowing down yet.
While the storm is not expected to make landfall, forecasters expect it to send large waves to the outer banks of North Carolina, where thousands have been forced to evacuate. The strong Category 2 hurricane is churning in the Atlantic, creating giant swells that will send waves up to 20 feet high, crashing into some communities.
We are anticipating coastal flooding from massive waves, tropical storm force winds, and tidal and storm surge.
A state of emergency has been in effect for North Carolina, and the beaches were also closed to swimmers across the state. Again, as Hurricane Erin continues to churn off the coast there, it's again threatening those residents with those huge waves, and again, those winds topping 110 miles per hour.
That's fast. And while the storm is again not expected to make landfall, the governor of North Carolina has declared a state of emergency, warning that conditions can deteriorate quickly. Jared Hill has more from New York.
Waves thrash the North Carolina coast as Hurricane Erin approaches, creating tropical storm conditions today in North Carolina and Virginia.
What does that mean? Incredibly dangerous riptides, very strong surf, and of course tidal flooding.
The massive Category 2 storm is hundreds of miles from shore, but with mandatory evacuation orders in effect, parts of the Outer Banks aren't taking any chances.
It's a serious storm, and conditions can deteriorate quickly.
Still, some North Carolina residents say they're staying put.
I've lived here almost 40 years. I've never evacuated, not yet.
Hundreds of beaches along the East Coast are closed to swimmers, with waves expected to reach as high as 20 feet. A surf competition in Virginia was canceled, but that didn't stop some of these guys from hitting the water.
This is our favorite time of year because we actually get waves.
Erosion is also a big concern as the ocean creeps further inland. Some folks in New Jersey say they think the coast is more resilient now, nearly 13 years since Superstorm Sandy devastated the region.
Prior to Sandy, there were large boulders, if you will. They cemented all the stones and they built this. So there's a really nice barrier between the ocean and our homes.
Hurricane Erin is expected to weaken later Friday. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
And as the storm continues to impact the East Coast, we are monitoring it right here in central Ohio. You've been watching Hurricane Erin pretty closely recently. It's impressive looking from the satellite models.
Yeah, absolutely. I shared a really high-res video of that satellite feed on my social media yesterday. Impressive storm. It's still impressive storm even at this hour.
Yeah.
Category 2, massive hurricane out there off the coast of Carolina. Those winds, they are topping 105 miles per hour, gusting as high as 125. Still remains a healthy Category 2 at this hour. To get to Category 3 status, we'd have to get up over 120. I don't think that's going to happen in the forecast, but it is expected to maintain that Category 2 status for some time. You can see the forecast there as it heads out to sea, still maintaining a lot of that strength. There are hurricane or tropical storm warnings in place still along the North Carolina and Virginia coast, as again some of those outer bands have pushed that direction. The waves and the waters have definitely been the most dangerous part of the storm here in the U.S. The forecast for it, again, maintaining that Category 2 strength at least through Friday afternoon, even a Category 1 into early Saturday before it eventually pushes off into the North Atlantic, and it still even contains some of those tropical, post-tropical storm characteristics well up into next week as it pushes up closer to the UK. So this is going to be a strong storm that'll likely even bring impacts possibly into Western Europe, not quite as a tropical system, but as what remains of Erin when it heads that way. The hour-by-hour forecast through the rest of today, the storm continues to push away from the shore as we head toward this evening. Of course, some of those outer bands and the waves will still be impacting the east coast, eventually pushing its way well off to the northeast as we head toward Friday morning and into Friday afternoon. Not the only system, though, we've got to keep an eye on. There's many developing out there in the tropics. And one of those X's are a potential system in the coming days, and the one we're watching closely is following right behind Erin. The latest forecast from the National Hurricane Center has this guy up to a 70% chance of formation in the next 7 days. So, Jay, we could be not done with these storms even after Erin gets out of the way.
And this one strengthened so fast,
yeah.
right? Just over 24 hours, you said it went from a Category 1 to a Category 5.
Yeah, it had just become a hurricane. The original forecast, when it was still back out toward the east of the Leeward Islands, was expected to get to a Category 3, and it just shot straight past that, all the way up to Category 5.
Now a Category 2, so it has downsized.
Still strong, but
still strong.
Definitely weaker than it was.
And more storms on the way.
Yeah, more storms could be on the way. And these type of storms, they are not unheard of in August, so it's not the craziest thing. While hurricane season starts in June, it runs through November. Historically, hurricanes happen later in the season, but it's not the first time we've seen an August hurricane.
Hurricane Harvey hit Texas in August 2017. That was a Category 4 when it made landfall, same as Hurricane Ida, which hit Louisiana in 2021, 16 years after Hurricane Katrina, one of the deadliest storms in U.S. history, devastated that area to our south. And another hurricane that hit in August was named Hurricane Erin back in 1995. So 20 years ago, there was another Erin. That storm was a Category 2 when it made landfall at Vero Beach, Florida.
Not the first Erin out there, and certainly not the first hurricane in August, but across the country, it's not the hurricanes that are a concern, but wildfires that are impacting the West Coast. Madison Keevy reports from El Dorado County with the latest.
You get used to it, but you don't get used to it.
From Omo Ranch Road, neighbors watch and wait.
The wind. And watch the wind. Yeah, the wind controls a lot. And of course, God bless the firefighters.
Telling us there's some relief in seeing those water drops from above. Here they go again, go by.
They go by. You know what? It gives you you're comforted, at least anyway. You know what? They're on the job. You know what? They're doing the best they can do.
The Coyote Fire burned more than 400 acres in its first few hours on Wednesday. The terrain is rugged and remote, so access has been a challenge.
Now that we've got the ground access and we're able to have the ground and the air resources on it, that's a good thing.
The firefight continues even after dark.
We have 1 night helicopter and 3 water dropping helicopters that will be on the incident through the night. Not having wind is a good thing because, again, we're up against some steep terrain, some remote access, some rugged terrain, so not having that wind is just one less thing we have to worry about.
And finally today, check out some new video into us here at 10 TV. Keeping with the topic of hurricanes, a ferry boat was coming back from Rock Island, Rhode Island, and it's seen rocking in the waves as Hurricane Erin's swells impacted that area on Wednesday.
Oh my goodness, I would not want to be there. Judy O'Keefe recorded this video and told CNN the following, quote, "It was very busy around the dock because people heard that the ferries might be canceled for 2 days, and some were scrambling to get off the island." Videos were taken on Corn Neck Road, about a quarter mile from the Block Island ferry dock in Old Harbor. I don't think I'd want to be out there.
Oh no, I mean that
the
boat,
waves that choppy.
When you saw it rocking there, at one point that looked like it was almost way too far. I mean, it was already way too far, but it was almost like way too far.
You don't want to be walking across the deck at that point.
Right
yeah,
there.
There it is.
That tip right there.
Woohoo!
That's that. There goes your lunch.
Yeah. Stuff's falling off the shelf too at that point, I think.
Absolutely. You know, it's not been all bad news when it comes to the impacts of the hurricane along the coast. In fact, this video shows surfers in Topsail Beach. This is over in North Carolina Wednesday as Hurricane Erin kicked up those waves and high surf. Perfect conditions for those experienced enough to take advantage of it. This guy's out there. Wait for it. You'll see him try to catch this wave here in a second. If you're a surfer, you don't often get these kind of big waves out there on the Atlantic coast, but well, he almost had it.
He had it for a second there. It is still risky business to get in the water when the waves are that high. But I guess, as a surfer, this is what you live for. And this is I did surf once, but it was in Lake Michigan, and it was the waves were not quite like that. If you surf, heed the warning. You're out there at your own risk.
Yeah, I say by definition, to go surfing, you need the waves. So you need kind of active weather like that, but still, like you said, a little dangerous out there.
Well, they were talking about some 20-footers, right, in the past couple of days?
Yeah.
That may be too big.
Too big for me. Catch me here in the studio, not in the water.
Exactly.
But what you can also plan on catching, that is more weather from us here at 10 TV. And while our 10 Weather Impact Show is done, Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz, he'll be here later tonight to break down the latest on that weekend football forecast.
Whoop, whoop. Thanks for having me.